I guess we can get started.
Yeah, let's get
We're
started.
the only ones here. Okay, so
We all care the most. You came.
I mean, if you have any questions while I'm painting, feel free to ask. A couple of things that have changed a little bit since I last talked to so many people is my brushes.
Oh,
I'm getting bigger brushes. These are really great to work with.
and around.
I finally got smart and realized that you cover a lot more territory with a big brush.
Can I feel one?
Yep, sure. So
Yeah, okay.
these aren't like these are pretty reasonable. They were like anywhere between 10 and 20 bucks
That's not bad.
at AC. Or no, these are at Michael's. These are Royal Langnickel,
I like Royal.
and it seemed pretty good brushes. They have another brand there that I picked up that was, I guess their home brand. It was something called Artist Loft. It was horrible. The stuff started falling off the handle a week after I had it, and I took them back. So, yeah, stay away. Hey, Rich, what's going on, man? So I'd say stay away from the really inexpensive ones that they have there. But these were decent, and
AC more, right?
these are at Michael's actually. Yeah, these are decent. They probably have them at AC Moore too.
And they're synthetics, right?
They're synthetics. Yeah, these are great though. I'm
These are soft.
really enjoying using them. And you can use them for oils or watercolors. So,
How about acrylic?
excuse me.
Acrylic.
Oh, you could probably you could use them for acrylic too. So they're a pretty good all-purpose brush actually. So a couple things, when usually now I'm kind of getting a little smarter about painting outside. I take bug repellent with me, and because I've had Lyme disease, and spray the area, around my, I spray my feet in the bottom here, but also spray around the area where I'm painting.
That's right.
So it's a good way to kind of keep some of the
Paint, spray your
Come
paint
the-
cups, too.
critters off. Yeah, really. This, you may have seen these before.
Yep.
Debbie Hoarder got me this, or Debbie,
It's really helpful.
and I don't know if you've seen these viewfinders. These are great, yeah, because they actually have the size of the canvas stamped on them. So if you have an 8x10 canvas, you just look at the back, it says 8x10. And it gives you the shape of your canvas, so you can look through it, hold it up there, and see what you're going to be getting in your painting if you stick with this
What did that thing called?
composition. What's that?
It's a viewfinder.
It's a viewfinder. So and they're also great for doing thumbnail sketches because you can actually just.
You want this table?
No, I'm okay. So you can actually just there's a pencil. So if you're doing a thumbnail sketch, and part of the idea is to get the exact shape of your canvas, you can actually just lay this on your paper and you could trace it, and you'd have the shape of an 8x10, or in this case a 16:20, which is the same ratio. And so you can actually do that at the beginning to design. I like to do one or two thumbnail sketches just to kind of figure out what I'm drawing and where I'm going to put it and how it's going to work on the canvas. So I did one, but even if it's something as simple as this, just to kind of get the feel and the flow of where you're going to place everything on your canvas. There's not much here, but it gives me an idea of the design, how I'm going to design this. Yeah, that's about right. So, one of the nice things about working with large brushes is it's nice to get from point A to point B as fast as possible, and point A is be covering your entire canvas, and then point B is going to be just wiping it out so you can establish your composition.
That's a mixture of
I'm just using paint. I'm just using odorless thinner. That's it. And right now I have raw umber and ultramarine blue. So on my my paint is I have raw umber, ultramarine blue, yellow ochre, yellow ochre, cadmium yellow light, and cadmium red light, and white. I'm using what call a mixing white. This is a combination of, I believe, zinc and titanium. I tend not to worry too much about the materials that I'm using. I know there are some people that are really into the materials and techniques, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just grab tubes off the shelf, or tubes of paint that I get when I'm out at auctions. And
What do you mean by brand name and stuff like that? You're not expecting.
yeah, I'm not really fussy about the brand names or anything like that I pick up when I'm painting. I'll let the conservators worry about that. If my work is worth conserving, why, they'll figure out how to do it.
You use watercolor now, right?
Excuse me?
Is that watercolor?
No, this is oils. This is, yeah. I do work in watercolor now. I've been working lately a lot more in watercolors, but I'm working in oils today. I'm going to tilt this forward a little bit, so a little bit of a glare up there. You know, the faster you get the main part of the painting down on the canvas, you know,
I guess this technique can be used with the acrylic also.
I don't think you have as easy of a time with acrylics with this, because acrylic dries so fast.
Dry so fast.
You might have a difficult time doing this with acrylics. The nice thing about this is, since it's not like I'm drawing or painting a person, so nothing has to be perfect or exact. I can move these branches to the left. I can move the branches to the right. I can put them wherever I want in my composition, because nobody's going to know. You know, when it's done, nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to look at this and say, "Hey, wait a minute, that branch is a couple inches off." With with a portrait or something, you can't get away with that. But with landscapes, it's kind of gives you that ability to be a little more flexible.
You do this process with all your landscapes?
No, I'm not a formula painter, so I tend more to let what I'm painting dictate how I'm going to approach it. Yeah, every painting has its own set of problems. So no one technique is going to work for every painting you do. I mean, I guess maybe some artists have it figured out that way, but they're what we call formula painters. So the end result of that is that their paintings, no matter what they're painting, all their paintings tend to look alike, which is, okay for some people. I mean, years ago I was attending a seminar in it was in Philadelphia. It was at the Old Armory, when they used to do the American or the U.S. Artist Show, which was a fantastic show. But they had a representative from a gallery in New York, and I'm trying to think of the name of the gallery. What's the name of the girls' school that used to be Beaver College?
Bryn Mawr, I think.
No. Arcadia, yeah, okay.
That's it.
So the gallery in New York was Arcadia Gallery in New York. And the owner of the gallery, he's got a terrific gallery. They've since moved to California. But he was talking about what they look for in their artists, the artists that they represent. So we're talking about one of the top realist or representational galleries in the country. He said, we look for people who produce a lot of work, and so you got to be prolific. And he said, we're looking for artists who paint the same subject matter in the same style over and over again. Wow. Which is kind of unfortunate. And he even said, it's kind of sad because, we pigeonhole artists, but when people come into our gallery and they want to work by, say, Malcolm Leakey, they want a figure painting, a beautiful woman done by Malcolm Leakey, because that's what he's known for. So,
That's awful.
yeah, it's kind of a downside to that, but it is what it is.
In the other way, the artists have to be obsessed with the same subject.
Yes.
But present in different manner.
Mm-hmm.
That's all, right?
Well, they want the same subject and the same style.
The same style.
The same style every time. Yeah.
But with a different presentation, I guess.
Well, yeah. They want a different composition.
Right.
Right. There's another one of my favorite artists from the city, Stanley Beelan.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been to Stanley. Great, terrific guy.
Portrait artist.
Great painter. No, flower painter. It's more flowers than anything.
Oh, he teaches portrait painting all the time.
Yeah. What Stanley was telling me, he did some beautiful landscapes. I saw them here at the sketch club years ago. And I said, why aren't you doing more of those? And he said, I can't sell them. He said, people know me for my flowers. So that's what, when people come to buy my work, that's what they're after. Okay, so this is going to be a...
When Sarah Yeoman was getting into the American water or Philadelphia watercolor stuff, no, American watercolor stuff. The first year she sent in, what did you get? You sent in 3 or 4 paintings, right?
Okay, I don't know, but go ahead.
All right, and she did 3 or 4 different ones.
Okay.
And she got rejected. She couldn't understand.
Ah.
And then somebody said, send them all the same,
Same style, same, yep.
whatever. She did that the next year, and
She was in, yeah.
I've never heard that before till now.
Does not surprise
And
me.
you're reaffirming that.
Yep. So,
Wow.
Well, they want to make sure that you're not just,
not what?
not just doing one great one, but that you can produce more and more.
Oh, you're right.
That you are not fragmented, but you have the option.
No, they don't want that.
I know, they don't want that.
They don't want that. They want to make sure that you can produce, as you say, your guy, paintings that can sell.
You have to obsess with something. Right? It's all five manners. It's something, the same thing. I think that's good.
It's not a fluke. You really can't think of that.
Like Wayne always have a geometric.
Yeah.
I know your work. You see, when I see Wayne work, I know this is you. Can never miss when you see it. Oh, this is Wayne.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. Good.
Bob, you want a beer or anything?
Oh, no, I'm good. Thanks, Rich. I'll go for a soda or something like that, something non-alcoholic.
All right. Coca-Cola, okay?
Yeah, that works.
Will you be distracted by questions?
Not at all, no.
I have a question about canvas size.
Sure, go ahead.
shapes.
Yes.
How much do you tend to use the sizes and shapes available in retail stores versus stretching your own?
99.9% of the time.
Retail?
Yeah, you know why? Because I buy a lot of my frames at auctions. But if you buy a retail size canvas, you're gonna be able to find a frame for it rather easily. You buy an odd size canvas, if you're painting 12 by 17s, you're gonna have a hell of a time finding a frame for that canvas. And if you have to have a frame custom made, it's going to cost you a small fortune because framing is very expensive. And on the other hand, I can go to auctions and I can pick up maybe a box of frames for $10. And you know, I get hand carved frames, I get really nice high end frames, and pennies on the dollar. So yeah, thrift stores, auction houses. That's where I go for most of my framing, and although I've also bought out the contents of a frame shop last year, so I got several $1,000s worth of frames out of that deal. And they were all a lot of them were brand new, most of them were brand new actually, still in the boxes.
That was pretty cool. How did you find out about that?
I actually was dealing with this gallery for about 10 years, and the owner had a stroke, and she had to sell the gallery. And she had asked me if I was interested in the... Thank you, Rich. She had asked me if I was interested in the frames, so...
Nice.
Yeah, I was just lucky. Being in the right place at the right time, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, stranger.
Hey, stranger.
I was just talking about you, showing them your the viewfinder that you got me. The viewfinder that you turned me on to.
Bob, do you use any kind of drying agent?
Do I use any kind of drying agent?
Drying agent?
I don't. No, I just use the odorless thinner. That's all I'm using. Usually that's why, most of I use linseed oil sometimes, but mostly it's just odorless thinner. Yeah. I know, I love this. I was always very fond of this. So, you can kind of see where this is going now. It's starting to take shape. I'm going to put a little more red down here. It's not actually there, but... Yes. This is going. That's that. I could actually continue that. I don't mind doing all this stuff for you, Rich. I just want to make sure there's a spot for my ashes up there when I... All right?
You got a can, I'll pick that out.
All right. Oh, good.
We're chasing sandworm when we
Good, there you go.
ashes out.
It's okay. Doesn't matter.
We're going to have the can of the unknown sketch club members sometime.
There you go. We were talking about that the other day, about all the... I don't know if you've ever noticed, but in the library there's some urns in there with the remains of some of our predecessors. All right, let's see. Yeah, let's see if I guess I'll keep this kind of white. Yeah, it's getting there. darken those.
Transfer this to YouTube, right? Put in our smart TV.
You could do that.
You get his permission.
Let's see how it turns out first.
It's at, oh, we use it.
Where is it?
It's in the office right now, but I think we're gonna be putting it, down in the basement.
In the
I believe
basement?
so, yeah. And we have this whole idea of putting the couches, like getting 2 couches in the corner when all the paintings are sold.
Now, this is why I wear these pants. That's my,
That's your rag.
yeah, it's my MO.
So everybody knows what you do for a living.
That's it.
You didn't do it.
Getting noisy out here. Let's see. I think I want to take one off the side here. Let's do. So do that. Yeah, I think that'll make it a little more interesting.
It's going bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually add a little. Well, I mean, you get a lot of information down really quickly. That's what you want to do. Get as much information down as quickly as possible, and then you can go in and start to refine it.
Start making it pretty.
Exactly. Yep.
My question was the colors that you have on your palette.
Yes.
What are they?
Cadmium red light, yellow ochre light, ultramarine blue, a little bit of ivory black, white, and raw umber.
Thank you.
No, a lot of medium. I mean, not medium.
It's thinner.
Sure.
Yeah, well, earlier the center. Yep.
That's a perfect attitude.
Kind of hard because I don't have a lot of distance on this while I'm painting it, but
I know, isn't that a pain?
yeah, it is a little bit of a pain, but it's okay. We'll get past this. Deb, we're thinking about doing Tiberinos this Sunday if they have their session on. I don't know if you're interested. You've done Tiberinos before, right?
I have not done. No,
Oh, you haven't?
no, I have not.
Where is it?
Tiberinos is it's in Powelton Village.
Oh,
Yeah, you did that.
I did that last year.
I thought so. Yeah.
That was very cool.
It is really cool. Yeah. So we're hoping they'll start up again, and If they do, it'll be this Sunday, they said, so.
It's a really interesting building and yard.
Yeah, nice people too, really interesting.
Very nice
Very
people.
eclectic group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
What do you do that, Bill? You go out there and paint?
Yeah, it's a I can say it's kind of like an art center. It's Joe Tiberino and his wife were both Philadelphia artists, and when Joe's wife passed away, he had purchased 4 homes, 2 on one side of the block, 2 on the other side of the block, combined all the backyards and created this huge compound. And
That's what it's like, a compound.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. And then he took one of the buildings and he turned it into a museum for his wife's artwork.
His sons live there or something.
His sons are still there. His sons are all painters. His daughter does, what does she do? She does collages and works in pottery and glass, I believe. But just a really nice, very interesting Philadelphia experience.
I agree.
And this has been going on for about 20 years, maybe. The father, Joe, passed away about 3 years ago, and the kids are trying to keep things going.
It's reasonable.
Yeah, it's $10. It's $10, and it's 4 hours with a live nude model in the backyard in the compound. So we paint directly from the model.
Is it in Philadelphia?
It is, yes,
By 10. Oh, by 10.
yes, Houghton Village. By the way, I run a group called Landscape Painting Philadelphia, and it's a meetup group, and it's free to join. So you just go to meetup.com and sign up, and we send you an email where we're going to be painting every week. Or try to, anyway. All right. So,
Marina, the name of the place.
yeah, that's a good start.
The building, the yard, the place is in the back of the building. And the building has, I don't know what you call it, but
Oh, it's a
sculptures.
it's a bas relief.
Is that what you call that, bas relief?
Yes.
It comes off the back of the building, and they're like on the building. It's just really too interesting. I just loved it.
So the father, Joe Tiberino,
Is he
and
the one that did that?
he is, yes.
Boy, they're really good.
So Joe and his wife used to own a bar on South Street called Bacchanal.
Oh, yeah.
And those reliefs, those bas reliefs, were all on the outside of Bacchanal at one time. And when they closed the bar down, then they moved all the reliefs to the backyard and rehung them.
Well, they look great.
Don't they though? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe was a really good artist. No, I've used pretty much the same brush through this entire thing. And as I get closer to completing this, I'll use a smaller brush. But for the most part, I'll probably use this brush for most of the painting.
What brush you using? Is it a synthetic?
It is, right. These
That's
are,
not a bristle, it's just soft.
no, these are synthetic. They're soft. They're
almost like
number
a
30. This is a
synthetic.
30 Royal Lang nickel, and this one is a number 50. Yeah.
I guess 20.
Hey, babe.
When you said you were doing that Wisteria, I really thought you were going to do the brick and the this.
Oh.
And I love them doing this. This is really a good idea.
Yeah, this is
Really.
It's just
My
like
brain doesn't go there.
it's like a study.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Well, the reason I picked it is because it's interesting. It's
It is.
all these
Twist and
serpentine shapes. Yeah, yes, makes it quite interesting. Go ahead. I'm going to have to slide this back a little bit so I can get a little more distance on this.
Oh, from what movie? Which movie? What's going on today?
One couple, Iron Man thing.
Yeah, is there something at the convention center today?
This,
It's one of the Comic Cons or whatever?
it's so many cosplayers.
That's fun to see them. They go all out.
It's getting there. Trying to pick up some little.
Yeah, I don't know if people are going to eat.
What's that?
But like, I came from West.
It's not really great light here. No, but it's okay.
kind of one color.
Right, right.
Every lane is kind of
But it's okay. It'll
We can make them up.
exactly. That's the point. Yeah, can make them up.
for the big of the tree. Especially if
I mean-
actually, it's a borrow card.
Most of my plein air paintings and hey guys, yo, we're doing something over here. Take it inside.
I'm sorry.
So what was I going to say? Oh, most of the plein air paintings that I do, I usually work them up when I get home. So I don't know too many plein air painters who don't do that. Don't work on it a little bit and try to finesse it.
Especially because light changes continually. So
Right.
you can't do what you see. You go crazy changing your painting every 15 minutes. Can't do that.
What I found it was difficulty. When you do plein air painting, the light changes.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes.
And you are not fast enough to catch all of that.
You
Right.
can't change the
So
light every 15 minutes
Right,
yourself.
right.
So you have to make a decision.
right. So when you do that, the first thing you want to do is look for your shadow areas and paint them first. Your big shadows, your major shadows. Paint them in first, and then you can just improvise as your painting goes along. But since they will be the things that change the fastest, that's what you want to get down first.
That's a good
Technique.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm doing okay. I'm just. People can eat and watch. That's fine. Yep, I'll just keep working, or I'll grab something while I'm working.
There you go.
So I could just sit here with a brush in my hand, and you're going to come over here and feed me?
That's
Okay.
pretty good.
All right.
How'd you manage that, Bob?
I don't know, man.
That's pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah, Ken's just checked, so you almost got it all set up. Little paint for pizza.
My little font. Can I get some pizza too?
Can we, Bob, are
Yep.
you eventually gonna, looking down the line at this thing, will you eventually try to get the texture of the bricks behind there, or is that superfluous?
I'm not sure yet, Rich.
Yeah?
It's not really that important.
Yeah.
And I may hint or insinuate some of the lines in the brick,
Yeah, okay.
but that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be get too. It's
Okay.
just all about the wisteria more than anything
Right,
else.
okay.
Right.
This was curious on your...
No, that's okay. It's a good question.
You don't plan very far ahead when you do these? You just let it kind of develop, or...
Yeah, I'm more of a I mean I have a general idea of what I want to paint, and then the other things are usually secondary. So I mean this is kind of my focal. I'm going to focus on the wisteria itself, and then the background. Will hopefully support the focal point of the painting. So does that make any sense?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I guess, I'm just always curious about the process an artist have when, what you envision when you look at the canvas
Right.
and subjects. And,
Right. Yeah, I wasn't thinking much about that background at all. Yeah, it was
Your
more.
thumbnails gave you an idea of what you were.
Well, that was just the composition, the shapes of everything. But as far as the, I think what Rich was talking about was how detailed am I going to get with this brickwork? Am I going to show it as brickwork? I can put it, it can be anything. It could be a piece of wood. It could be brick. It could be stone.
right.
I can make it whatever I want.
Make it sky if you
I
want.
can make it sky if I wanted. Yeah, sure.
Well done. You got right through the maze. Yeah.
The right-hand viney thing is very good.
Oh, this.
Yeah, because the yellow worked to bring out that,
Right.
well, that texture there.
Right.
Yeah, that's really good.
I find it interesting that you're not particular about the brand of paint.
Oh.
God, I really find it.
Yeah, paint is paint. Most paints are compatible with each other. You can mix Grumbacher and Winsor Newton and Rembrandts or whatever you have. It's
Wow. I hear people say, oh, no, the caps don't stay long, don't last on this brand, and I can't use this brand.
it's
All that stuff.
I'm sure there are certain artists that are really fussy about
Yeah.
that. And I'm
There
I'm
are.
just not one of them. There are a lot of different approaches and a lot of ways to approach a painting.
I like that looser.
A lot of ways to approach your materials. What you use and what you don't use. A lot of different schools of thought on that. But my school of thought is I'd rather be worrying about the painting itself than the materials.
Yeah, the composition, I mean,
Yeah, right. There's so much right there to learn with composing a painting, how to
I'm
compose a
really
painting.
glad you said that.
So I'd rather worry about that than worry about I used to make my own oils and stuff like that. I used to cook oils and do all kinds of stuff, but
That's great.
and stretch my own canvases.
I always stretched on my own canvas, and I stopped. That
Yeah.
didn't take me long to stop that one.
Right. So what do you want to spend your time doing? Do you want to spend your time?
Stretching or painting.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Now it's come down to the point where I think about that when I'm cleaning my house. Do I want to clean or paint? Right. So,
I'm with you there.
yeah. I'd rather paint.
Boy, I'm right there with you, too.
So
No question.
creeps into everyday life.
In the beginning, I thought, oh, I have to stretch my own canvas, I have to do this and that.
Yeah. It's nice. It's good to learn how to do all that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. But I
No.
mean,
But I don't do it anymore.
But I think you reach a point where you realize that professional manufacturers are going to do a hell of a better job of producing high quality supplies. If you're willing to spend the money, then I'll ever be able to,
I
mix.
agree 100%. One day I just said, why am I doing this?
Yeah. It's kind of it's okay. It's fun to learn. It's good to learn.
Yeah, I was rabbit skinning,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then you get to a point where you realize that, like I said, you let that
And every one of them I couldn't frame.
well, there you go. Why not? Why can't
That's
you
why
do it?
when you said that, I laughed.
Because they were different, odd sizes. Yeah. Yep.
I wasn't smart enough to think ahead.
No, let's see. Now. So, where am I going to go with this? I want to pull this over further.
Yeah, I got that.
Those spots don't wipe out.
No, yeah, right. The sunspots that.
I went away, I came back, there was spots on it.
Yeah, yeah. It does make it a little difficult sometimes to figure out what's going on with your painting, but it's
That's
no
what
big-
happens outside.
Yeah. All right, now.
I had to hold it on place.
Posing the painting, figuring out where everything goes. But like I was saying, I'm using these brushes. I just started using these. They're really nice sized brushes, big brushes, and it makes a hell of a big difference in the, what you produce.
What you were doing 7 years ago is subject matter different.
No, I wouldn't say the subject matter is different. I think I'm painting a lot of the same things. I actually return to a lot of the same places. I think maybe I just think the biggest difference is my ability to compose and put together a picture.
I think your compositions are always really good.
Well, I try
They
to.
get some high feature. And a hard thing to develop.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah. Let's see.
I'm certain that many of the people you know that Bob is certified by the FBI
Oh, yeah. Right.
to be a plein air painter. So tell us a little bit of the story.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. It was about. Well, it was when the Pope came to Philadelphia. When was that? 6 years ago?
No, what's that one ago?
4 years ago. Okay.
At least 12.
No. It was a lot sooner than that. It was recent.
Recent.
Which pope are you talking about?
The current Pope.
So maybe it was like two. Maybe it was 2 years. Okay. But anyway, that's.
Well, we had two popes that came for
So I had somebody staying with me, living at my house at the time, and I got a phone call. I was here at the club, and I got a phone call from my roommate telling me that the FBI was at the door, and
Oh, Christ.
I had to call them ASAP. And they wouldn't tell them why. They said they had to talk to me. So I called them from the club, and I asked them what was going on, and they said, do you know why we want to talk to you? I said, I have no idea. And they said, well, I said, why? And they said, we can't tell you on the phone. You'll have to come into our offices, or we can come to your house.
Wow.
So I said, all right, well, come to my house. So they showed up the next day. And I was trying to explain to them that I'm a plein air painter and that I scout locations to bring my group to paint. And they were looking at each other like, I don't know if I'm buying this story. So I said, well, come into my house. So they walked into my house. As soon as you get into my house, I'm an artist. You can see it. It's all over the walls, easels, paints. So they looked at each other, and one said, I guess I'm convinced. How about you? And the other one said, yeah, I'm convinced too. And as they're getting ready to leave, I made the mistake of saying, by the way, I'm on social media. Did you try to look me up and figure out who I was before you came here? Gus says, yeah, we did. And I said, well, what'd you find? And he said, well, what did you think we found? Oh, here we go. Now we're going on a fishing expedition, right? So I said, I didn't think you'd find anything. And he said, we didn't. And then they gave me their business cards and said, if anybody gives you a hard time about painting anywhere, tell them to call us and we'll verify that you're legitimate.
Did they show up in the suits and the whole thing?
Yeah.
They were their wallets with their badges for you?
They were very nice. Yeah, they showed me who they were. They showed me their ID.
They speak in short sentences like a dragnet?
No, actually, they weren't in suits. They showed up in like sport shirts and just regular casual clothing.
Not good. They might have been fakes.
Casual clothing, but they were very nice and very professional.
Why did they pick you in the first place?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, somebody had seen me taking photographs down near the Navy Yard. So they copied my license plate down and they gave it to me.
You know, if you see something,
Say something.
you see an artist painting,
Right. Which is I really didn't care. It wasn't it was kind of a.
Because that first phone call had to be pretty
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
It had to be like, oh crap.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to figure. What did I do? It's just like.
What did I do now?
Right.
You think that even though you know you didn't do anything, but you still think, what did I do?
Exactly.
Something, I couldn't get the whole story.
I was scared that I was being shaken in my boots.
But like I said, they were very nice. I think I need some green in here.
It was good they came to your house instead of you going to theirs.
Yeah, I didn't feel like they said they had offices on Ray Street that I could go to, but I didn't feel like driving into the city and doing that.
Especially they might never let you go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got to worry about that, don't you?
All right, yeah, the FBI, the FBI. That's right. If you see your house, you can prove it.
Yeah, I think I'll throw some green in towards the bottom here. Anchor this. What's that? Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
This will work. This will work. Rich, you were asking me about thinking about, like thinking in advance, thinking out paintings in advance. I've been finding more often, the more I paint, the more the works kind of dictate where they're going to go themselves. It's almost as you start working on something, you lay down a patch of color or something, and then you realize that something else is going to springboard off of that, and and sometimes you start out with a painting and you end up with something totally different than what you started out with. Yeah, I mean, subject matter and everything can be different. I used to, there's a great book about the painting techniques of George Inness, and it's written by his son. And his son said people would purchase his paintings, and years later they bring the paintings back for another coat of varnish or for a little touch-up or something needs to be. And he would take the paintings and return something that people couldn't even recognize. His son said he would repaint the entire thing, and then.
Even if it was varnished, I wonder how he did that.
I don't. Well, just taking the varnish off, and yeah.
Wow.
All right, so I'm gonna try to.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Big glaze. He was into glazing, I think I heard.
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, George Inness, yeah, he was hell of a painter.
Yeah. The show of his at the Art Museum, I'd say not long ago, that could be 10 years ago.
Well, they had one up in New York years ago at the National Academy of Design. And apparently he was a member of the National Academy of Design, and the painting was just magnificent. They had about 40 Inness paintings.
That made it easy to remove that paint doing it the way you did.
Oh yeah, no, this is a really simple method to work in. It's quick and easy. The pants I have, I should actually.
Them in the corner.
I have enough of them. Right, right.
Yeah, it was so funny. When I was in Florida, when I went to the art show, all my art buddies, they all were artists. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, and there's like 100 people in a room this big. Well, maybe a little bigger than this. Yeah, so it was a little uncomfortable. But,
Hi, Margaret, how are you? I don't know, nobody's sitting there. Yeah, well, I just got it. A girl made it at the, I got it at the shop at the Moore College of Art. So like a person made it. Just couldn't believe, you know, I mean, with the high school show and the sketch club, you know, it's just so many things that connect with pencils.
We're working well.
Right, it hangs in the, right. The rib. You know the rib? That tool rib? That thing. No joke about it. Like, you know, a bunch of ribs. You know.
that was your picture.
He's getting there.
It needed something.
That would be a hit if I went to the Plein studio.
Oh, that was that show they had here where the two prizes went to the same. Yeah.
Oh, great. Yes. But it's nice and good. Is that it? There it is.
Is that yours?
Yes, I was just looking all over for it. It's part of this set.
Oh.
Shit, I lost one. I just bought it already.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You have the canvas sort of pitched towards you. Is that for a reason?
Yeah, because it was catching too much light before and it was distracting.
Plein air, Bob. Can that be like an interpretation as well as of nature? Like, for instance,
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
If I was to take something like you're doing and abstract it into something like clay,
Yes,
that
could still be plein air.
That would be acceptable in
Yeah.
plein air.
Thank you. What did you ask? That's what it is. What is
Yeah, it does not have to be.
a building?
It does not have to be a perfect, exact representation of what you're painting.
Good.
It's not a requirement. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
most
I'm
like
glad to actually know that because I was not going out to actually be in a
Right.
plein air group because I didn't think I would,
you would fit.
in.
Right. Well, I mean, if you read the books by like John Carlson or Edgar Payne, they tell you in there that you're never going to really find, rarely will you find a perfect composition in nature. It's really up to the artist. The job of an artist is to change those things around to make it a more appealing vision. Right? So instead of just being stuck with what you have before you and reproducing something exactly what it is, it's up to the artist to interpret the view. Yeah.
Hear somebody say that.
Now a lot of the paint I mix right here. You'll notice I mix a lot of the paint.
I remember reading the prospectus, just skimming it, and it said that it had to be done within the last year.
Okay. Oh, for our thing, yes.
So that means that you go out and you see something within the last year to
Right.
represent.
Right, and you sit out there and you paint directly from nature too. That's or draw or sculpt or whatever you're working on. But I mean that's it. To do it directly from nature. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah. I like what you did with the brick. It just indicated it.
Yeah, I didn't want to get too detailed with that.
That was smart.
And I won't. I'll leave it. It's going to be very just
That was really
subtly hinted at.
Yeah, what do you do with the brick? Very there to there. I don't even know what it is. Yeah.
You actually planted all this stuff, right? Yeah, the ferns, everything. Are any of these mine ferns? I'm just curious. Are any of these mine? Do they? You want to sprout it over there?
No, not at all. Help yourself.
Yeah.
Take as many pictures as you want.
The brick is still in its one.
Okay.
Be honored to know that you took some.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. They want to paint every brick, and it's not the idea. Is just to suggest, figure out what the pattern is, and just try to replicate the pattern or make a suggestion of that pattern. Patterns and shapes. Yes.
Thriving, my goodness, wow. That'll be a reminder for me.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm liking that.
Thank you.
Every time I'm around here, it's pick up something.
Yeah, I mean, you can learn something from everybody, really.
Yeah, well,
So much.
a lot of people, but
And I'm still learning. I'm always watching videos and trying to figure out what other artists are doing. And you know, there's so much, particularly now with YouTube.
oh my God, isn't that the best?
There's so much to learn, and you can just you spend hours and hours,
I
and
can spend a whole day. Can vanish on me.
right. And even people who are kind of amateurish on YouTube, I mean, there's usually something good there. You'll pick something up. Let's see.
But I learn something from you all the time because you answer questions.
Oh. Well, I try to if I can, and if I can't, I won't tell you. I'll tell you that I can't answer it.
How long have you been painting through that?
I can't answer that. Let's see. Too old to answer that. Yeah, since I was a kid. I remember around the age of 9 or 10, starting to paint in oils. Well,
I just started 8 years ago.
my parents, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and my grandmother was suffering from cancer at the time, and my grandfather wanted company, so he didn't have any toys at his house. He just had a lot of drawing materials, pencils and no. He just had pencils and pens and papers all over the place. So instead of playing with toys, I drew. Yeah.
I used to draw.
And then my parents realized I had some talent, so they took me to the
Did you go the other night?
to Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts when Andrew Wyatt had his first show there in 1963.
Oh, that is too cool.
And I saw that, and I said, this is it. This is what I'm going to do.
Boy, I love it. I love it.
Yep. And then, oh no, I was 10. That was the age of 10, 1963. Yep. Yeah.
It's an exquisite thing.
Yes.
The first time I saw Groundhog Day, I was famous. You know, really, he hit me that way.
Perfect painting.
Yeah.
It's starting to flow.
Yeah, it's starting to come out now. Yeah. Let's see a few things that have to be worked on. Let's see this. Disappears back in here. So then my parents decided to get me lessons. So there was a woman that taught painting down the street from us, and they signed me up with her, and I got
Where'd you
it.
grow up?
Springfield? Yeah. And I had a crush on this woman, so ever since then, the smell of linseed oil really has a nice effect.
Excites you.
Right.
I love the smell of oil.
Yeah, I think you either love it or you hate it. I had to.
I just started painting not that long ago. I never painted with anything other than oil.
Okay.
And then I just recently bought some watercolors to take to Ireland. To do some value sketches before I painted.
Well, I love working. I'm really starting to enjoy watercolor again.
But that a solution to not carrying.
I'm going to grab something.
Go get some food before it's gone.
Yeah. I'm going to take a break and grab some
Take a
pizza.
break.
It's getting there. It's got. Oh, you know what? I just saw something.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, I know. It always works like this, doesn't it? It's like.
That's how it goes.
So it needs something here.
Now Welsh and Italian. But I fell in love with Ireland. Well, this one section of Ireland. The weather was perfect. The area was perfect. That's the Atlantic Ocean. It's a lake that went right out into the Atlantic Ocean, right from outside the hotel. Everywhere you turned outside this hotel was a vista.
Well, getting close. Yeah, getting close to finish.
Nice with all the leaf at the bottom.
Hmm?
Nice with the leaf on the bottom.
Yeah, I got to darken these a little bit. Oh, that's nice. It works. Yeah, I think I'll put a couple more, brighten these leaves up a little bit, and that'll be it. And then I mean, it's not a completely finished piece. I'll finish it at home. But I have enough information here now that I can actually take it home and finish it.
Are you going to put it in the plein air shop?
I might, yeah. It's not a bad idea. It's a good idea.
Okay, if I post you on the...
Yeah, absolutely, sure.
By the way, I want to do your, that watercolor that you just posted on, the oil, the white piece.
Oh, yeah. I got to take another picture of that. The photograph I took is not that good.
Okay, so I'll wait. But
Yeah,
I
just...
want to put that on ours.
Thanks.
I make it.
Just lightning one.
Actually, the greens that I use are all mixed from the cadmium yellow light and the black, ivory black and blue. Yep. So it's really basically, yeah, exactly.
I'm liking it. It's a nice green too.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I don't get, for some reason, a lot of greens from the tube, directly from the tube, are gaudy. And then greens that you mix yourself tend to be less gaudy and less intrusive.
Green out of the tube that you'll see in nature.
You're probably right.
True. Not a single one. And nature has a million different breeds,
Right, yep.
but they can't produce it. That's looking good.
Yeah,
That
yes.
really helps.
Yep. So that's about all I'm going to do for today. So you kind of, yeah. No, I want to do a little more. Wait a minute. So that's.
Oh, look at that. Hey, I'll take a picture.
That's basically it.
Can I put it on Facebook?
Sure you can, yeah.